Hey guys, Lisa Callaghy here to share with you a video on how you can create study island assessments for your students where you get to pick the questions in the assessment. This is called a built test. So I'm going to show you how to do that and how you can assign it to your students. All right, let's get started. So you guys need to be in your ClassLink dashboard and click on the Study Island tile here. Let me go back so you can see I'm logged in as a teacher. Clicking on the Study Island tile, it will automatically open up Study Island for you. No need for username or password. And it is rostered with your classes as your schedule is in PowerSchool. All right, so when you land in Study Island, you will land on your teacher page. And for us to build a test, we need to come over to the left-hand side menu options here and scroll down to Built Test Library. So if you're looking for a test that's already been built, you would kind of click on select a program, select a subject, and then from that, from these choices that you make, click on submit. If there is a test built, if you've built it already, then you will see it. But since there are none, or at least that's not what I'm showing you, I'm going to come over to where it says build a test on the right-hand side of that title bar. So clicking on build a test, we have some information here that we need to fill out. We have 4 tabs, and the first tab is already selected, and that is a tab where we need to put in the title of our assessment. However, what I suggest is we kind of skip this tab for now and go right to the section or the second tab that says questions, because I think it's a lot easier for everyone to copy and paste the title of the topic from where you're picking the questions and pasting it in here into the test title. And I also highly suggest that you only pick one topic or one standard per built assessment. It just makes it a lot easier and cleaner and less confusing when you are looking at your results from your built test, especially when you're trying to see an item analysis and determine which question was answered incorrectly the most by your students. It just makes it a lot easier when you have only one topic that you're sifting through as opposed to multiple topics in one test. Okay, so I'm going to click over here on the second tab called questions, and I'm going to come and pick from the New Jersey programs. So that's going to open up all the places here that you can pick. You also have the opportunity to pick from US programs. So you'll see you have some kindergarten, first grade, some Spanish areas that you can pick questions from here going all the way down. You have some middle school science questions. So there's lots of different topics here. You have algebra that you can choose from, okay? Outside of the New Jersey programs, which are specifically attached to the NJSLS standards, student learning standards, for each grade level. All right, so I'm going to pick 4th grade because I'm in a 4th grade class, and I'm going to pick ELA, but you see you have 4 content areas to choose from. I'm going to choose ELA because this is an ELA teacher. And I'm going to now scroll down and look for the topic that I want to choose my questions from. So I'm going to choose from textual evidence. And yes, there are 2 standards here, but it's a lot better than picking textual evidence and drawing inferences in one assessment. Now I have 2 topics and 4 standards. So before I even click on this to look at the questions that I want to choose, I'm going to highlight this, select that like that, come up and do an edit copy. Scrolling back up, I'm going to go back to my first tab, click in test title and do an edit paste. Of course, you can do that from your keyboard shortcuts, Command C, Command V. Right, so now I have my title because I know this is exactly where I'm going to be pulling my questions from. And if I didn't say it before, which I don't think I did, you do have the ability here to type any additional information, reminders for students, instructions for students before they take the assessment. You have 300 characters with which to get that across to your students. Okay, so now I'm going to pop over to the next tab. I can click on the tab here, or I can click on the green button called Next Questions. All right, so now I know I'm doing my textual evidence. I'm going to click on that title of that topic. And now what it's going to do, it's going to open up the question bank for text evidence. So before I get into what we're seeing here in these blue bars, I want to bring your attention over to the left-hand side of the textual evidence screen here. And you have some choices. You can view a lesson on textual evidence to see how Study Island is presenting this standard in an assessment format. Okay, this is where you would save. This is where you would cancel. And then finally, you see that you have filtering abilities. So you have the ability here to filter by question type or by depth of knowledge. Okay, so let's see what the question type drop-down menu looks like. So you get to pick if you want to filter out types of questions from these two question banks here, the assessment questions and the practice questions. If I just wanted to see not constructed response, I just want to see hot text, matched pairs, multiple choice, and multiple response questions, or if I just wanted to see multiple response questions, I would uncheck the rest of my question type selections and just check one. But for this, I'm going to have all of them selected so that you can see. And then next, you have the ability to choose the depth of knowledge type of question. So if you just wanted your students to have questions that, so you want your students to be able to answer questions that are level 1, depth of knowledge, recall. That means that you're filtering out all these other levels here when you're looking at questions to choose from in these question banks. Okay, I'm going to do all three so you can see, but you do have this filtering section here. And also, just so that you know, the filtering section differs by topic. So sometimes you might not see a level 2 or a level 3 depth of knowledge type question in a specific topic that you choose from your topic list. So I don't want people to think that if you see it here, it's going to be the same for all of the topics. Okay, sometimes you'll have less question types in your filtering for a specific topic. All right, so once you've chosen your filters, now you can go in and open up your question bank. So I'm going to open up my first assessment question bank by clicking on the plus sign. What that's going to do is it's going to open up now all the questions that I can choose from. So you notice it says question 1. It gives you the depth of knowledge level. And then to the right of that title, there is the add button. So if I want to add this question to my assessment that I'm creating, I'm going to click on this add button. Obviously, I would like to look at the question, look at the passage, look at the question, see if it's something I would like. If it is, I scroll back up and I click on add. It's important to remember that the add button for the question is at the top of the question and not the bottom of the question, okay? A lot of people read the question, come down and click on add and mistakenly think that they're adding the first question when in reality, they're adding the question below it, all right? So if I want to add this question, I'm gonna come back up, click on add. Okay, this is the same passage, so I might wanna add this question. This is recall, this is multiple choice, same passage I want to add. Okay, now it's a new passage. I'm going to skip these. Okay, so those are my choices for the assessment question bank. Now I can click on the practice question bank and open up that and see what types of questions I have here. You can see I have a different depth of knowledge level, and I could come and click if I'd like to click on those, noticing these are the different types of questions. So scrolling down, you get to pick the questions that you want to add to your notice. Here you also have this type of drag and drop question. So this is how you would add your questions to your assessment. I want you to also now take a look back at your left-hand side menu bar. Underneath the cancel button, you'll see it says 4 questions added. So it keeps a running total of how many questions you've actually added. So you don't have to kind of scroll back and forth to see, oh, I forgot how many questions did I add to this assessment. Okay, so I'm going to add 5 questions. When I'm finished, I'm going to click on Save Selections. So now I have, and you can see, I'm back on my questions tab, and you'll see across from the topic that I selected, under question selected, it says 5. So it does, you get to see and remind yourself where and how many questions you chose. So I'm only picking one topic, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click on create the assignment now, or I can save to the library and exit. So what does that mean? That means I've created my, if I choose save to library and exit, that means I've created my assessment, but I'm not ready to assign it to my class. So which is great because you can create all these assessments in advance. And then once you're done with that topic, you could just come back in here and access the assessment to create the assignment. So I'm going to do that right now just to show you how to come back to that assessment later on. So we're going to pretend it's the next day or the next week or the next month, and I land back in my Study Island teacher page. And now I want to assign that assessment that I created. So to do that, I'm going to come to Built Test Library menu option. And this time I'm going to select the program that my test is in, and I'm going to select the subject that my assessment is in that I created and click on Submit. And now you'll see my results. I have a Created by Me tab and a Created by Others tab. Obviously, I'm looking at Created by Me, and here it is, the textual evidence. And now I have some choices. I could, under my actions column, I could view my details of the test. So it's telling you what, how many questions there are, the topic, and the grade level and subject, which you already know because you just search that out. You're able to click on the magnifying glass, and that's going to open the test for you. So you'll get to see the questions that you did choose, okay, for that assessment. If you created it a while ago, that opens it up in a different tab in your browser. So to get back to your actual assessment that you want to assign, you have to go back to the tab that you were in. And then you'll notice the fourth one. I'm going to skip the third one for now. The fourth one is a pencil icon under the actions column, and that will allow you to go back in and change anything. So here you're able to go in and change the question. So if you want to go back into textual evidence, and if you'd like to see the questions that you've actually, let me quit out of this for a second. I'm sorry, let me cancel this. Yeah. So if you want to go into, I wasn't sure if I was in the right place, textual evidence, and then go back and look at the questions that you've assigned, you'll be able to know which ones they are by scrolling and seeing anything that says remove. That's the question that you've assigned. And if you want to remove it, you can remove it. And then if you want to add a different question, you can go ahead and add a different question. Okay. And then click on Save Selections. All right. So coming back down, I showed you how to save to library and exit. Next, you can come in and create the assignment now, or coming back to your built test. I'm going to just hit the back arrow here and go back into my built test that I created. Fourth grade, ELA, subject. So I'm going back to my built test library to find my my assessment that I created that I want to assign. So I went into the edit here. So from edit, you can assign the test. But in case you didn't want to go into edit and assign the test, you can click on this third icon called assign test. And you can click on build test. And it brings you back to the assignment creator place again. So this is two ways to get to this assignment creator. So now I'm going to click on create assignment now. And now you'll notice you have some options here, okay? So the first option is obviously the title, which we already know. You have some control here. So the first one is a slider, and it's called enforce dates. What does enforce dates mean? Well, let's click on this question mark. So enforce dates, if you turn that slider to the on position, meaning if you turned it like that, that would mean students can only work on the assignment between the assigned date and time and the due date and time, that's right below here. So if I'm enforcing these dates, I need to make sure that these dates are correct. So if I want my students to work on this assignment all next week, I'm going to start it on the 12th, the start of the day, or I can do 8 a.m. And then I'm going to pick the 16th. Actually, it's the 13th because we're off. And then I'm going to pick the 16th, and then I'm going to choose 3 p.m. So they have between this date and time to complete their assignment, and I'm enforcing those dates, right? Now, below that, you'll see an activate assignment. So what does that mean? That means that clicking on this question mark, that if I have this activate assignment turned on, that means the assignment is visible to the students in their class page. If it's off, it means the assignment is hidden from the students. But if I have dates enforced, that means that on this date, the students will see this assignment as long as my assignment is active. If my assignment is inactive, meaning I have it off, these dates won't work if my assignment is not active. Okay, so you need to have your assignment active. Subsequently, if you do not enforce dates, but you don't want your assignment to be active because you've created it, but you're not ready to activate it for your students to take the assessment, you can have the dates off and have the assignment off. And then you can come back in and activate the assignment when you're ready to assign it to your students. Okay, so next you have allow students to view missed report. That means that they'll be able to see the questions that they got incorrect. You can turn that slider on or off. And then obviously randomizing the questions. That way every student doesn't have the same question in the same order. Turning that slider on or off. And finally, you get to put some more instructions here if you'd like. Okay. You also have the ability to show a calculator if you'd like. And then the school preferences that the school administration has chosen for Study Island, you are unable to override them. Okay. So once you're finished with all of this preparation, you're going to click on Next Students. And here's where you get to choose either your entire course that you would like to assign your assessment to, or if for some reason you just want to assign it to a few students, you could come over to the plus sign that's to the right of the title of your class or your class name. That's going to open up a window of all of your students. And then what you can do is uncheck the box to the left of the name of your course, and then check off the names of the students that you want to assign this assignment to. And you can do the same for multiple classes if you'd like, opening that class, unchecking the entire class, and then assigning it just to a few students if you'd like. Okay, when you're done, you're going to click on Save and Exit. And then what happens is your assignment, I'm not going to save that because this is a teacher that uses this and I don't want to mess her up. But to actually see the assignment, you go into Class Manager. click on the class that you assign the assignment to, and then you will see the assignments that you've assigned. So this teacher has assigned, she's assigned these assignments, and you can tell which ones the teacher's assigned because they have this action button here. The first action button is to activate or deactivate. So right now this teacher has a POV and a main idea assignment assigned to her students that are active. And then she has 3 assignments that she has created, but they are not active. And all she has to do is come in and click on this green button with the white check mark, and she can click activate, and it will automatically activate the assignment for the student. All right, guys, so this was building your test or your assessment in Study Island, where you get to pick your questions. All right, I hope this helped. Have a great day.